Hi yogis, it's Cindy. Hey, today I'm going to talk a little bit about traction your spine. So as we sit around during the day and we slump, our spine contracts down, squeezes down. And so we want to talk about getting it lengthened, getting it nice and tall. And probably everybody knows that you can do a forward fold, allow your head to be heavy and use that to traction your spine. That's probably one of the common ways. But I'm going to show you another couple ways that you can kind of do the same thing. Some of them laying on your back, some of them in kind of a squatting position, and then a really fun one with a strap. So for this, we will need a bolster. You can use a pillow off your bed. You can use a pillow off the sofa, a strap in a circle. You can use a belt, a scarf, anything that you can kind of tie into a circle. And then two blocks, right? So again, you may not need to use all of these, but it's nice to have them handy. In place of blocks, you can use a stack of books or anything that you can get that's kind of nice and stable. So the first one, we're going to come onto our backs. You're going to lean yourself all the way back, keep the soles of the feet on the mat and bend the knees. The palms of the hands come to the thighs, and you're going to use your hands to gently press against the thighs, pulling the thighs gently against the hands until you feel that sense of lengthening happening all the way from the tailbone to the tip of the head. You can also use your fists, depending on if your hands are long enough to make it all the way, or your arms are long enough to make it all the way here. But even if they are, you can use your fists to get a little bit more traction. You can release, press a little bit deeper, release, and then press a little bit deeper. Contracting the muscles of the legs, lengthening as much as you can through the spine, and then softening the whole body down, feeling all of that length, imagining that you're building space between each and every vertebra. When you're finished, you can release the hands, just bring them down by your side. Feel into this for a minute or two, kind of feel into the results of what you've done. And then come onto one side or the other and slowly make your way all the way up to a seated position. The next one we're going to do is similar to that. So grab your blocks or your books. And again, you may not need these, but it depends on the length of your arms and the length of your arms in comparison to your torso. As you can see, if I'm sitting here, my hands don't make it all the way down to the floor. And in order to get this traction, you need to be able to press deeply into something. Flex your feet, engage through the thighs, press the hands into the blocks or the floor, and then use that traction to lengthen the spine as you reach the crown of the head up towards the ceiling, keeping the sits bones really, really heavy into the mat. So you're engaging every muscle in the body in order to make this tractioning happen. And you can think about not only that, making space between each and every one of the vertebrae, but think about all of those muscles that go from the vertebra to the ribs, everything that connects back there, lengthening, warming up. Exhale, relax everything down. You can do 2 or 3 rounds of this, as long as it feels good in the body. And then set your blocks aside and just sit for a moment, letting it all kind of work its way into the body. For this third one, you're going to need a bolster or a pillow. Either one is fine. Take your bolster or your pillow and tuck it against your belly, bending the knees until you come into kind of a squatting position. Reach your arms across the bolster, press the elbows into the bolster as you squat down, and then bring the palms of the hands together, letting the head rest on the palms of the hands. You'll start to feel length happening all the way from the tip of the spine up through the crown of the head, and the deeper you press down and in, the deeper that sense of stretch is going to be. You can ease up a little bit, take it a little bit deeper. Ease up a little bit. And then find the deepest bend, the deepest pressure that feels comfortable for you. And stay here 5 or 6 breaths. Finishing up, you can straighten out those knees. Bring the hands down. Release the bolster. And then roll your way up to a standing position, nice and slow. For our last posture here, we're going to use a strap or a tie of your bathrobe or a belt of some type. You want it to be in a circle. And so we're going to come down onto our backs, one leg long. You're going to bring the strap around the opposite foot, it doesn't matter which one. And then you're going to take the strap and loop it around the base of your skull. You want to make sure that it's not too far up the skull because it's going to slip off, but just right here, right below the ears. Take the arms out to the side, and you're going to use this foot to provide a little bit of pressure to lift the skull and the shoulders away from the mat. So this starts to stretch from about the mid-back, a little bit lower, all the way up through the base of the skull, where the skull meets the neck. You can gently move the foot to the right, move the foot to the left, and you can play around with lifting a little bit further, releasing yourself a little bit further down. You can try both sides, reaching both feet in and then releasing whatever foot you started with, letting that leg go long, or sole of the foot can come to the mat too if that feels like it's a little bit better support. Finding your traction in here, finding that little bit of movement here. And ideally you find a place where you just kind of feel like you're floating, where you're not using a whole lot of leg tension, the neck and shoulders aren't tense, you're just simply floating in between, resting comfortably. When you're ready to come out, you can bend the knee into the chest, release the strap. Just lay here for a few minutes with the soles of the feet on the mat and the knees bent. You can take a few windshield wipers of the knees back and forth, maybe even turn the head side to side. Eventually making your way all the way up to a seated position. That's all for today. Thanks so much.